Oh, you're live on?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Why not? It's already hot in here. Did we turn up the air?
That's at 75.
Okay. So you want to do it?
Oh, welcome to the Triple M podcast, Money Making Money. I am your host, Mark. Albert and George are here, our special guests, and one of our acquisitions guys, Luis Padilla. Right? Did I say that right? Did I say it wrong? How did I say it?
It's Padilla.
Padilla. Dude, I'm bad with names. Sorry about that.
Padilla.
Yeah.
That's all good.
That's a Wisconsin accent coming out.
Wisconsin.
How are you doing? What's going on?
Having a good time, man. Enjoying the process, the learning, and it's been fun.
Yeah.
For the audience, can you give us a little bit of your background before you got into wholesaling with us?
Oh my God, how much time you got? Keep it brief. We'll stick to like real estate. So worked for mortgage companies for quite some time in different positions: marketing, recruiting, sales, training, and technology.
Okay.
Okay.
So some familiarity with real estate. Obviously, like I said to you guys last time, enough to be dangerous, but still a lot of gaps, and it's been something that I've always wanted to learn. I just never really trusted the people that were promoting it, if that makes sense.
Yep, complete sense.
Well, did it feel like it was like some kind of pyramid scheme or something, or like what did it come? You say trust, so that's why I'm asking the question.
Yeah, I mean, I never knew anybody personally till George started doing this that I could get past the like I don't really know what they're telling me. Is this for real? I don't want to invest any money. I don't see anybody personally that I know is doing it.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it never got over that hump of like I wanted to dive in. If that makes sense.
Yeah. And until you saw George is when you said, let's do it?
Well, George told me about his little vision several years ago, and he was working on some stuff, and I just happened to call him one day, and kind of the need was there for your side as well.
Yeah.
And he's explained a little bit to me and completely trust him. So here I am.
Awesome.
I'm ready to do it.
Right. No, thank you. You've already been doing it. Yeah. So it's been 3 weeks, right? Pretty close to 3 weeks.
About 3 weeks. Yep.
3 weeks, right? So 3 weeks within his first week and a half, he got 2 contracts. Yeah. So two deals under contract that we're working on. One we're trying to sell. The other one, rookie learning curve. So we're still trying to figure that one out, and we'll see how that goes. Like, we'll point out the successes and some of the misfires, right? And things like that. But it's part of the business, right? Part of the learning curve.
Learning curve, they grow.
You're not going to know everything every single day, right from the start. But on the horizon, there's several contracts that are going to be coming in that we see them. We've had the conversations, and Louis can probably tell you better. Had the conversations with the sellers, and they've verbally agreed. Now we've sent the paperwork. Now it's kind of, all right, when are you going to sign, and when are you going to execute?
Yeah.
Those types of things.
Yeah.
I mean, we're trying to be creative with the other one too. So we're trying to figure out a creative way to keep that one in dispo.
Yep.
Nice.
So so Louis, in case you guys don't know, he was my best man at my wedding.
Oh,
nice. So
okay.
yeah, so there's a little bit of a of course I trust him, he trusts me, and it goes like that.
Awesome.
So far, how has your experience been? What are some of the things that opened up your eyes? I mean, the reason why we brought you on here right now, one is because there's a lot of new wholesalers out there.
Mm-hmm.
luckily, you know me, and we were able to I already kind of had an idea of where you could fit and how to get things working. But there's a lot of new wholesalers out there, and they're always asking the question, how can I get my deal? How can I get my next deal? My thing has always been, well, contact an investor, work for an investor, and have them teach you the ropes. You get paid to learn.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
And then you go from there. Right. So one thing that I point out, right? So Mark has just barely started with us since December,
Yeah,
right?
6 months.
So 6 months, right? So how many properties? How many properties do we own?
We are on the verge of 8 now, I think.
8.
Yeah. So
Right.
we had 5, and then we just closed on one today,
Mm-hmm.
and then we have 2 more.
And then 2 more, right?
That are closing either Monday or Tuesday.
Right, exactly. And so then we have a wholesale deal that we're also closing as well, right?
Two.
So those
Two
two
pack.
wholesale,
Two
two
wholesale
pack, right?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
then and so then that with the numbers that we got, so he's barely started in December. He has he's part of a $1.5 million portfolio,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
right? Loan balance is about $600,000, so almost $900,000 in equity
Yeah.
inside of that portfolio, right? Since December.
A majority of those are subject to.
Yeah.
Right. So exactly. So the reason why, Luis, once again, to bring up, just because I want to also do a recap on Mark, because a lot of listeners have seen from the very beginning how he started off.
I
So
appreciate that. Thank you, buddy.
yeah. So absolutely. So the reason why we want to bring on Luis, okay, you're the new acquisitions guy. So you're the newbie. You're the rookie. So yeah, we got to do the hazing.
There you go.
And so then the same thing with you, right? These are some of the opportunities that are available to anyone if they put their mind to it, right? And
Yeah.
what is the easiest path, right? And different personalities are going to have different ways of how they envision their success. But the reality of it is that one of the easiest ways, talk to an investor, work with an investor, partner up with them. They'll be happy to do a JV deal with you.
Yeah.
You're bringing them money to the table.
Yeah.
That automatically brings value to the JV
Yeah.
agreement.
Yep.
And so then because of that, that's great. So Luis has been on the phones. I know he talks to people all the time, and so it was a perfect fit.
Yeah.
So now, right, what's kind of been the experience on the leads that you've been getting, on some of the ways of the thought process, the mindset? Give us a little bit of the feedback for your first initial thoughts, and kind of figuring
Yeah,
this out.
and the little struggles or that you've had, with the calls and the whole process.
Okay, well, I like the process you guys have. I'm big on systems and processes.
Awesome, good.
So when I kind of saw it and was explained and explained the part where I come in, I really like that because I'm used to starting from the bottom. Like, hey, here's your sales business card. Go handle it.
Yeah.
So a lot of times in that situation, you're talking to people that could care less what you're asking for. They're not ripe. They're not. There's no interest.
Yeah.
So you're going through, like cold calling almost.
Yeah.
To some degree. So this was kind of nice because they had been spoken to. There was some notes on the situation, and it gave me a reference point. Hey, I'm calling about your property. I know you talked to so and so already.
Yeah.
And I got some information. I just wanted to clarify, and see if you really truly want to sell.
Yeah, exactly.
And also, you guys use a certain method that I wasn't familiar with, but I really like it because you have that attitude of you're going in not really worried about the outcome. You're just, is this a real deal? Then I'm going to go for it. If it's not, click, buy it, have a nice day, move on to the next person. Where in other situations, it's like you get a lead and you try to squeeze juice out of the turnip, and that's not fun. So I think for the most part, I mean, it's been a very pleasant experience. Obviously making that first call and trying to do a good job for you guys obviously puts a little pressure on. But once you get going, you got to have that mindset of don't worry about the outcome. Just make the call, start talking, be nice, try to figure out what kind of personality they have and try to mesh with it. And, I think I've had maybe 2 people that were jerks, but it was kind of fun because I'm like, okay, cool, whatever you say.
Right. Exactly.
Have a nice day,
Right. It's to be expected, and that happens.
Well, that's pretty good. Actually, only 2. That's not
Yeah,
bad.
exactly. I have to deal with these 2 on a daily basis. It's like, gosh, man, I don't even know why I volunteered for this.
And I don't even get paid on that.
I had one where the guy his house was going up for auction, and the call taker put some notes in there, like he didn't want to sell, but he might need help, but I couldn't tell. So I got the guy on the phone. Man, he went on a rant for like 30 minutes. He's fighting something with the lender, and he's already won it. So, but it wasn't going to go anywhere. But the guy ended up being a cool guy.
Okay,
And then you kind of you get off the phone. You kind of make a friend, and so it's kind of what you make of it.
Yeah, very true. That's very true. It is kind of what you make of it.
Yeah.
So with I had mentioned Luis. There's a couple of advantages to his past because of his past. One, he's been on phones. He's made sales calls before, right? And then 2 is that he also has done the disc test. He understands. He understands disc, right? So he understands how people when they speak or how they communicate. He understands how to communicate back based off of certain interactions, right? So the one that always comes off of mine is the D, right? That's the dominant person. They'll tell you right then and there, this is how I want to do it. This is what it looks like, this and that, right? So from that, along with our sales process that we have, it's easy to navigate through, right? And then now you have that guy that you just explained, that's a communicator, right? He just wants a voice and he just wants to tell himself. With that, you have to kind of edge them towards the guide of what direction the conversation has. So Luis has known that from the past, and so that makes it a little bit easier. But go online, look for disc test, and look for disc DISC. Look at the different types of relations on how the person communicates.
Yes.
And when you're speaking to people, did we just lose Luis?
Oh, we did.
Oh, we lost him. So we'll get him back. But when you're talking to people, you'll realize who is like dominant. I'm gonna go ahead and look it up right now. So it's I think it's DISC. So DISC. D stands for the dominance, I is for the influencer, S is for steadiness, and C is conscientious. So each one has a different way of them communicating.
Yeah.
So you have to be flexible enough so that you can communicate based off of their style. So on a dominant person, right, you don't want to be dominant as well. You don't want to tell them what they have to do, because if you do that, you're taking away their communication style. With somebody that's conscientious, what they want to do is they're very analytical. Based off of that analytical mind, they want to know the numbers, the exact amounts, what's going to happen next throughout the whole entire process. And so you have to recognize that within the first 30 seconds of talking to somebody, and then go from there. So now, I know we lost you for a little bit, but I was just explaining the disc test. So Luis, when you first started off, right, I had told you that the mindset has to be a little bit different. Right. What's been your experience?
Well, it takes a little bit of adjusting, but to be honest with you, that type of mindset that we want is a home run mindset. You've been in situations where you have leads and you just milk those things and there's nothing there. And now when you go in, it's kind of like, I don't know if this sounds bad, but like in a position of power, a position of authority, you're the guy with the money that wants to buy something.
Yeah, right. Correct.
So don't waste my time either, kind of.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not in a jerk way, but I just want to know, first of all, do you truly want to sell? Why do you want to sell? And then kind of figure out, how hot it really is.
Yep.
Right.
And if it's the right fit for us to buy.
Exactly. And so then that was a big thing that I had told them, right? So one, when you're working with an investor and you're trying to do these deals, you're not selling anything.
No,
right?
You're buying.
You're buying.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a different mindset. Most of the time, and Lewis has come from a sales background, so have I. And it took me a little bit longer because I had to find different methods for me to figure out this sales process. But yeah, all of a sudden you are the buyer, right? So if you're the buyer, well, you have the cash, so you're the one that's in control at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Right. They don't like your price. Okay, move on to the next.
Yeah.
With that, along with the abundance mindset, changes everything, right?
Yeah.
So it changes the game, and that's the reason why it's like, I've had conversations like, if this lead doesn't work out, don't spend any time on it, because there's going to be somebody else that will, and that person is going to be the one that you're going to be able to capture, convert, and move forward.
Maybe that's another reason why, maybe I've had a little bit of success since we started, is because I like to buy things, but I also don't like to pay for things.
There you go.
I look for the deal, right? And I think that's kind of, I would hope, I'm not trying to inflate my head or anything like that, but yeah, I would think that that's kind of led to some of the success of us taking some of these properties down.
Yeah, absolutely, right. And so then that mind shift, right? When you're, funny thing is, I walked a property one time when I went door knocking. One of the greatest things that I learned when I went door knocking was, so for anybody out there, it's a good thing. Like, what happens when you knock on a door? Right? What's the first thing? Somebody's answering it, right? But what's your first thought if you're answering the door?
Oh, shit. Now.
Exactly. Who the hell's selling?
Yeah.
Or it's Amazon, right?
Yeah,
so if it's Amazon, you're happy. But if it's somebody, yeah, exactly. If it's somebody else, you're like, oh man, I got to deal with this, right? Yeah. So one of the first things that I learned when I went to door knock was, within the first 5 seconds, hey, I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm actually here to buy. Yeah. That completely diffuses the situation. So same thing with phone calls, right? Same thing with phone calls. And this is a nugget that I haven't given Lewis, but it's one of those things that you can go at any moment in time. The situation gets tense, or it gets weird or odd, or just the conversation just turns or something like that. Like, hey, dude, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm here to buy. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, okay, is this going to work, or if it's not, move on. Yeah. Yeah, it's all about the mindset. So, all right. So, systems, leads. Actually, let's dive into the leads. Okay. If you don't mind, what is your feedback in regards to the leads? How are they coming off? What are some of the things that you're expecting or experiencing, and then also what volume of leads and consistency?
I mean, just starting out, it's been good because I'm trying to change my schedule a little bit to accommodate. So it hasn't been overwhelming. So that's been good. But I also noticed that if you don't hit them right away, it's harder to get a hold of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as soon as one pops up and there was a conversation, and get on the horn right there.
Yeah.
Because if there was something spiked in them, like, you know what, I really do want to sell, I want to know, and you talk to them 3 days later, it's not the same anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And so we call that call to market, right? So as soon as a lead comes in, our cold callers, they put notes on inside of the file, and right away they basically say that somebody's going to call you within 24 to 48 hours. What we've noticed is that right from that same call, if you call them that same day, they get even surprised, right? They're off their guard, and they're like, oh, well, I was expecting a call tomorrow or something from you or whatever, right? And then all of a sudden they drop their guard.
Yeah.
So it's just, and it becomes a different conversation.
Yeah. And that's a good little tidbit to take away, whether it be wholesaling or it just leads in general, retail, anything like that. If you have some type of lead generation, the faster to the lead, the more you're going to convert it.
Yep. Yeah, that's very true.
The easier you're going to convert it.
Right.
And then consistency too. So what I'm doing now is, I'll call if they don't answer, try to leave a voicemail, if it's not full. That's happened a few times.
Yeah.
Throw out a text, throw out an email, and then wait maybe 2 days and then do it again. So trying to find that line of not overdoing it, because then it seems like sales.
Yeah.
Right.
And then also I use different kinds of verbiage. Like I always say, hey, hope you're doing well. Kind of like I already know them, and then also ask them to, your response is appreciated. That works well for me.
All right.
Like an email, your response is appreciated. Just little things like that you learn over time.
Yeah.
Yep. And there'll be more. There'll be more things on there. So yeah. So all right. And then inside of our system, right? How easy is it to navigate? I know at first it's a little cumbersome, right? Because you don't know where everything is at, but everything is pretty much labeled, right?
Mm-hmm.
So where do you think? What do you think about the system so far?
No, I like it. I'm a system guy.
Right.
I made my own stuff in the past. But,
Yeah, we've.
I'm kind of nerdy that way. So I actually was telling George that back when Podio first came out, I was a reseller for it when it first came out.
Oh, wow.
It was like maybe a group of 30 people on the calls because I was looking for another database type thing that was web-based to build some things. So it was pretty simple. So I really liked how everything interfaced to it, where you can run the analysis on the property.
Yeah.
And then you guys, you set your limits on, low anchor, high anchor, and your max stuff. And you just have to know what it is and kind of jump in,
Yeah, right.
There are some things obviously that because of like George ran into a property the other day where there's no comps for it. And the guy's asking too much. So, but that's going to happen,
Yeah.
Right.
But for the most part, I mean, it's pretty right on. And, over time, maybe I might go a little high and you guys are like, man, you should have looked at this. But as far as I've seen, it's been right there.
Okay, good.
And then it's just, knowing to set up your follow-ups as well for yourself,
Yeah.
Right.
with the system. I really like it.
Yeah.
The lovely thing about Podio though is that you're going to get notified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Right.
Hear that popping sound all day?
Yeah, exactly. I hear it all the time, and it's on my phone too. So.
Yep.
Yeah. So awesome. Yeah. And so then, just in case some of the listeners don't know what a low anchor is, what that is that if you have a property, you have a maximum allowable offer, right? So say, for example, you're buying a property at 70%, right? So that number is going to be the maximum amount. Let's just use 70% as the maximum allowable offer. So you're going to go ahead and make an offer, and the maximum that you would pay for is at 70%. Well, what you would do is that you first throw a low anchor at 65% when you're first starting off your negotiation. Well, Mr. Seller, you know what? I can only do 65%. He sizzle the bacon.
Yeah. The bacon, buddy.
So you know what? It's gonna be a little tough for me to meet that number.
Yeah.
65% is probably what I can do, and we'll go from there. And then you have your conversation in regards to pain points. Why is it that they're looking at selling? How can I solve the problem that they currently have?
Yeah, that's a big
and so
one.
on and so forth. Because the transaction is the final information.
Yeah.
You focus on the pain.
Yeah.
On the first.
And solving the issue
Right.
that they have, because obviously there's an issue most of the time. Yep.
All right. So what else okay, so now the contract, right? When you were writing up the contracts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So part of it is, I'm learning this stuff, right? So I'm used to these big, long contracts, and you guys put in what you need, right? And and what I'm seeing, it's very flexible. You don't like that, we'll take that out if we don't feel that we need it. Deposits and things like that, and it's just, I don't know perfectly yet to explain every single thing on there, but most of it I can kind of get through. But I think that's important, just knowing what's on there and being able to explain it, because some things, imagine someone throwing a contract at you.
Yeah.
I tell everybody, last time I signed a contract like that, I was in the military for 4 years. You read that darn thing.
Mhm.
But they're going to question it, and if you can just answer them really quickly, it's move on.
Yeah.
I've never sold a property cash, so I'd be one of those guys. I need to have someone look at this,
Yeah.
Right.
So understanding that,
Yeah.
For a reason.
And that's the thing, yeah, exactly. And that's the thing is like if you're not, and if this is not your day-to-day business, then you're not gonna understand everything that's in there. So
Right.
yeah, definitely.
Right.
Yep. Learning that
So
stuff.
our system was built out so it can be based off of speed, right? So if you have one thing that is not my strength is to fill out a contract, right? It's not that I don't like doing it. It's not that I can't do it. It's just that it takes so much time.
Yeah.
It takes forever,
Yeah,
right?
it's
Because
tedious.
right, it's tedious.
Yeah.
You want to make sure it's accurate. You got to make the names right. Like there's so much information, and if you get something wrong, the seller's going to call you back, and they're going to be like, "Hey, what are you doing? Like, who are you?" Right? Like, seriously, it's not accurate. It's not right. And then all of a sudden it becomes it could become combative.
Yeah,
right? It creates
exactly.
that, right? So inside of our system, right, you can write a contract within 5 minutes.
Easily,
right?
yeah.
Right? Have you used a little bit of a PropStream and Podio to try to figure out the contracts yet?
Yeah, there's times where you don't feel like you have enough information, to justify whatever number's on there, and you just want to be sure, So in the beginning, it's like, "Hey, George," but now it's like, "Let me see if I can find it, and then call if I need to." And I think over time I'm going to get more comfortable and know, okay, I'm good there.
Yeah.
I'm going to learn some things about certain markets. Like I know there's a little bit more cushion than what that says because of the time of the year or whatever's going on.
Yeah.
As you go, so you have a little bit more wiggle room. So with time, that stuff will come.
Yep.
Yeah,
Exactly. And that's what it is.
And the whole point of that is so that so you get X number of leads, based off of we're big in regards to our KPIs. Our key performance indicators. And so based off of that, okay, we're going to do X number of dials. X number of dials is going to equal X number of leads. X number of leads is going to equal X number of offers, right? And based off of those X number of offers, you're going to get X number of contracts, right? So if you can speed up the process in any one of those fashions, in any one of those areas, you're going to end up getting more conversions at a quicker pace.
Those ratios.
Exactly. Right? Exactly, ratios. So that's kind of what it is. But once you've written the contract, it's pretty simple. Name, email, phone number, and then a couple of pieces of information that you would pull from either Zillow or PropStream. And then just get it going.
Right. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So anything you guys want to ask?
Where's your comfort level now from when you started?
Oh, it's way up there now. I feel pretty confident, other than those days where you're like you're just dragging and you got to wake up to kind of get going. We all had them. But I kind of switch my routine a little bit. I go to the gym before I do my calls.
Good.
Oh, nice.
I feel really good. I got the blood flowing. My brain works.
Yeah, there you go.
So it's been good. I mean, I think I'm ready to, turn that spigot up a little on me, guys.
Okay.
Good.
Right.
Awesome. So we're ready. So awesome.
We can do West Coast. We can do it. Add more. Yeah.
Add more. Yeah. Let's do it. Okay.
All right.
So let's see here. Anything else? Okay. And then on our disposition side, so you've seen a little, just a taste of it, right? You haven't seen a lot of it, but it was pretty simple, right? We just make sure that we grab the pictures, right? And then all of a sudden we have our marketing guy send them out. Did you have any questions on our marketing, on how that goes out, or anything that you've seen?
Well, I mean, I haven't really asked you guys about any of that stuff other than what I've seen. I've seen like one of the properties we got a contract pop up. So I've seen that, so I can see the amount, so I kind of understand what you're trying to make. And then I'm assuming, and I think I may have heard you say that you guys just have like networks where you can throw this stuff out. So there's other people trying to find places and you get to them. So as far as like the numbers and all that stuff works, I still don't, know enough, or like I told you, George, I'm like, I when I started, I had all these thoughts. We can do some stuff here, man. I could build a team. I could, and that's just how my brain works.
Yeah.
But then I had to reel myself back and said, look, let's do this logically. Let's learn. Let's get good at it. See how it goes, and then if there's opportunities, then who knows? I see this as something you guys want to grow. And, if that opportunity comes, then I'll be ready for it. And they won't have to call George every 5 minutes. They'll call me, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And so we've all gone through it, right?
Yeah.
We've all made the calls. We've all talked to the sellers. We've all had to, pound the pavement or what is it, the concrete, whatever. We've all had to do that. And so, this is no different. It's just one of the paths to get to the next level.
Yeah.
And you have to pay your dues and things like that. And it's not. Now, from your point of view in doing this, I would say it's not hard. But obviously, I'm not the one that's doing it.
Yeah.
So my what kind of feedback can you give us in regards to that? I mean,
as far as doing the job itself?
Yeah, the job itself. I mean, it requires work, right?
Oh yeah, but it's your mindset, man. I mean, I look at it this way. I was in a position when we talked to jump on board. I had a little bit of resource to kind of float myself for a while, so I didn't have that added pressure, And usually, I'm working for someone else, getting a paycheck every week. With my own stuff on the side to compensate. So at this particular time, I was good. I'm like, okay, this has got to be perfect timing.
Yeah.
So when you don't have that pressure on you, you're looking at all the positive stuff. You're like, man, if I close this, this, and this, that's some pretty good money.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And George knows I have some other things I'm trying to do, some humanitarian stuff in Africa. And
we'll get into that.
Fund those things,
Yeah, for sure.
So, it all comes down to how you look at things. You can look at it like, man, I can't do this job because I got to get paid every 2 weeks. And if you try and do it that way and you don't have money, it's going to be hard. Because you're going to just be frustrated, and you're going to want every single one of those leads to be something.
Yeah, right.
But I don't look at it that way. I'm extremely I thank you guys for the opportunity, first of all, because it really fits into my life too.
Nice.
Awesome.
So I can break it up how I want to. I do all my calls in the morning, and the follow-ups come. I just take them as they come, when you call back. So I got my kids with me every day. It's all good. It's great.
Nice.
Awesome. Yeah. So, gosh, what was I going to say about that? I just completely blanked out.
You mentioned what you're doing in Africa, or what you have something going on. Why don't you give us a little bit of insight of that?
So, bless you. We have so I have a friend that I've known actually longer than I've known George, and he's been a missionary in Africa for like the last 10 years. So he's gone out there, he's built stuff, he's done stuff the way the Americans go over and do it.
Yeah.
But he's learned the culture. They've been giving him land in different places. He's in with the chiefs, and he's just built a really good connection with the culture and the people there. And we started talking. I actually did a podcast with him on it. And after he was telling me what he was doing, we decided to partner and do a technology school to teach these people skills, because they're all very well educated. Education is like their number one thing there. They save all their money for education, but they don't walk out of school with any job skills. So our plan was to let's get all the basic like Microsoft apps, all the Google stuff, and let's set up a program, set up some schools for this to have them come in, learn, give them some sort of certificate, because there's a lot of foreign companies investing in Africa right now that need a workforce. So the main goal of that whole thing was that they wouldn't get taken advantage of, and they could actually make a wage. And what happens in Africa is all the bright minds leave and they never come back. So it stays the same.
Got it.
So then COVID comes knocking, and everything kind of changed, right? So now we're like, people are going to die if we don't give them food. I mean, that's how crazy it is. And out of our own pockets, we have friends, though. I mean, I have like 30 friends over there, and I'm starving, man. And $5 here, $10 there, it goes away. So that was the first thing. And then we started researching how can we make some farms or something for our friends and the people there where they can be self-sustained, they can have food security, and they could have something that could be generational and provide an income for their family. And that's where we're at right now. So out of the little missionary thing me and my friend did, we're getting ready. I can't really give you the details because there's a lot of like trade secret stuff or whatever you want to call it, intellectual capital. You'd have to sign a disclosure on the fly. But it's we're going to start an investment company of all things to raise the capital to do all these good things and give people a return over here.
Nice.
Bank or anything like that. And you guys will see it once it's ready to go.
Awesome.
Maybe you guys will jump in. I don't know. But that's where my heart's at. So I see this as a vehicle to do that, and a great vehicle.
Yeah. Awesome.
Just send us the NDA after the podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll post your link as well. There's a fund for people to contribute, right?
Well, right now on it's called missionisAgo.com, and there's a donation button on there, and basically that's just to try to feed the people that need food right now and stuff like that. The other one is it's gonna be its own company. We're gonna start an LLC, and then we have to make a branch of a foreign company over there and all that good stuff.
Okay. So the crazy thing is that we were talking about this, and Akon bought a city out there, Akon City in Africa. Yeah, right now. So he's a huge investor out there. He's helped out a bunch of, and I don't know the entire details, but I know that he built something for water from there, and then added some solar power for several cities and things like that. But now he's going to have his own city, and it's something like $5 billion that people are just throwing at him just to set it up.
Oh,
wow. Akon City. So that's something separate, but I was amazed that investors are going into Africa, and this is not the first time I've heard of this. But
no, it's a real deal. That place is so full of resource, it's ridiculous.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Missionisago.com.
Missionisago.com. Yep.
Okay, so missionisago.com. So if you have a little extra that you can spare, go ahead and go to missionisago.com. You can donate there, and then awesome.
That's good.
Thanks.
Really good.
Thank you for coming on to the podcast, sharing your insights, letting us know. For those that are, as we wind this down, check out our sponsors, Lead to Cash. Essentially, if you are looking for lead generation, cold callers, things like that, check the link in our description below. One of us will reach out to you so we can discuss it even further. We have a mentoring program as well. Again, check the link in the description below. Batch skip services, we are affiliated with them. Feel free for all your batch skip needs and getting phone numbers and things like that for your leads, so your cold callers with Lead to Cash can call them. All links below. The Expanse Real Estate team, we are hiring. We are looking for experienced realtors in Arizona. So please feel free to reach out to us. We can give you a little bit more insight. We do have leads, and they need someone to
work. Yes, exactly.
We still are looking for a name for our system. So if you guys could hit us up at cashnowhomesaz@gmail.com or mark@cnhnational.com. Provide us a name for our systems. We have Cash Now systems right now, but we're trying to look for something a little bit more unique. So for those in the audience, help us out.
Lewis, any ideas?
I'll have some. Give me some time. I'll get some.
Right on. Awesome. Any last words that you want to say, or any last thoughts?
Well, I would say, I mean, if you're interested in this, I feel extremely lucky, to be honest with you. So like George was saying, is go find somebody, build a relationship with them. What I'm assuming is most people kind of work the same. Is you're going to get paid while you do it. So even if you do it part time, that's really what you make of it. If you want to get in the door and not be all by yourself and try to figure out the puzzle, then jump in somewhere, man.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
All right.
Awesome. Thanks.
Cool.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Louis. And
All
thanks
right,
for
guys.
We'll talk later.
All right.
Mahalo.
Later.
Awesome.